They say time waits for no one, but thanks to AI, we can now see how some of Hollywood's most iconic stars would have looked today. From legendary actresses to musicians who left a mark on history, these stars' careers were tragically cut short, but their legacies live on. With technology recreating their appearances, we can imagine what their aging process might have been like. How would they have evolved physically and continued to dominate the entertainment world? Join us as we explore the fascinating AI recreations of these unforgettable stars. James Dean. James Dean represented youth, rebellion, and artistic passion in addition to being a Hollywood heartthrob. He was a symbol of unrealized potential until his untimely death in an automobile accident on September 30, 1955, at the age of just 24. At a crossroads on California State Route 46, Dean, driving his Porsche 550 Spider, nicknamed Little Bastard, collided with another vehicle. Ironically, fellow actor Alec Guinness had informed him that if he drove the car, he would die within a week. Unfortunately, Guinness's unsettling prophecy came to pass. Only 3 films, East of Eden, Giant, and Rebel Without a Cause, defined Dean's career, each displaying his unadulterated emotional depth. He was one of the first actual method performers, and his acting style, influenced by stars like Marlon Brando and Montgomery Clift, changed Hollywood. Further stoking rumors about his personal life, he was reportedly said to have had a complex relationship with Brando. AI's reimagining of James Dean's older self implies that he would have aged gracefully and kept his captivating blue eyes' magnetic intensity if he had survived. Subtle wrinkles would have added character to his already well-defined jawline. He might have gone into directing and joined his peers in charitable work, such as Paul Newman. He may have redefined masculinity in Hollywood beyond the traditional idea of the rebellious, flawed guy. We glimpse a version of Dean that was never allowed to exist in the AI-generated image of him as an elderly man. If fate had given him more time, one can only speculate how he may have influenced the motion picture business. The AI-aged Dean offers a chilling glimpse into the man he may have been, a tale that transcends simple adolescent sorrow. Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn is one of the actors who has had the most significant influence on Hollywood and humanitarian efforts. Although she is most known for her grace in Breakfast at Tiffany's and Roman Holiday, she had a problematic yet resilient life. Hepburn was born in 1929 in Belgium and grew up in the Nazi-occupied Netherlands during World War II. Her experience with malnutrition led to her lifelong commitment to helping children through UNICEF. Hepburn gradually gave up acting after becoming well-known in the 1950s and 1960s in favor of her philanthropic endeavors. In her later years, she traveled to war-torn areas to promote the rights of children who were starving. She was one of the most adored people of her era because of her elegant, profoundly empathetic, and cinematic presence. The world lost an irreplaceable figure when she died of appendicular cancer in 1993. An AI-generated representation of Hepburn's older self might depict a woman whose beauty continued to grow with time had she lived longer. She would still have her characteristic pixie hairstyle and exquisite silver streaks flowing over her face. Decades of kindness and wisdom would be reflected in her doe-like eyes, which were constantly full of emotion. Hepburn's artificial intelligence-aged photo serves as a reminder that true beauty is found in grace, experience, and a life well lived, despite Hollywood's tendency to emphasize youth. Many issues arise when one imagines Hepburn in her later years. Would she have carried on working for UNICEF, thereby influencing global child welfare policies? Would she have returned to the big screen for one last significant role? AI offers us a glimpse of Audrey, who had the opportunity to continue inspiring millions of people. Her legacy becomes ever more critical every year. Tupac Shakur. In addition to being a rapper, Tupac Shakur was a poet, philosopher, and activist whose ideas continue to resonate today. When he was shot dead in Las Vegas on September 7, 1996, he was just 25 years old and at the height of his career. His mysterious murder gave rise to several conspiracy theories, with some people speculating that he staged his death to get away from the brutality of the music business. Others contend that he became the focus of a broader power struggle due to his outspokenness. although Tupac didn't live long, his impact extended far beyond music. He was an outspoken opponent of injustice, police brutality, and systemic racism who used his position to draw attention to problems that the media frequently overlooked. His albums, such as Me Against the World and All Eyes on Me, remain among the most influential in hip-hop history. He would likely have been even more politically involved if he had survived, possibly pursuing a career in acting or even entering public office. An older Tupac is depicted in an AI-generated image, and his face reveals his wisdom. Time has taken its toll on his once young looks, as evidenced by the gray strands in his beard and the serious focus in his eyes. His style, which initially typified the 1990s hip-hop era, may have evolved over time to incorporate sophistication and streetwear, reflecting his growth as a thinker and artist. Hip-hop, and perhaps American culture, might have been very different if Tupac had survived. Would he have persisted in opposing the status quo? Would he have found peace if he had left the East Coast-West Coast competition that characterized his time? An elder Tupac that the world never saw, but will always wonder about, is shown to us via AI. Cass Elliot. The Mamas and the Papas' distinctive sound was shaped by the rich, soulful voice of Cass Elliot, also known as Mama Cass. As a plus-sized woman in the male-dominated music industry, Ellen Naomi Cohen broke down barriers and demonstrated that talent, not looks, counted. Decades after her death, hits like Dream a Little Dream of Me and California Dreamin' are still well known. Her sudden death in a London apartment at the age of 32 gave rise to the utterly untrue tale that she was choked on a ham sandwich. She had heart failure, which was a tragic result of the time's emphasis on appearance and was probably made worse by years of yo-yo dieting and drastic weight loss attempts. AI's portrayal of Cass implies that she would have aged with a royal bohemian grace if she had survived. Her trademark flowing hair, originally dark chestnut, would have developed silver flecks, adding to her appearance of freedom. Her constantly expressive clothing may have evolved into an even more elegant take on her characteristic hippie chic look, which features bold jewelry and long flowing skirts that reflect a lifetime of artistic expression. It's easy to envision her as a mentor in the music business, encouraging aspiring female musicians to embrace their individuality with her infectious smile and kind demeanor. She might have had a successful solo career, creating more jazz, rock, and folk-influenced songs. Perhaps she would have even served as a judge on a reality singing competition, advising and supporting upcoming musicians. Her AI-aged photo serves as a melancholy reminder of the happiness she offered and the music she might have shared in the future. Despite her brief life, Mama Cass continues to shine as a testament to the fact that genuine stars never indeed fade away. Bob Marley. Bob Marley was a movement as much as a performer. His stirring lyrics and groundbreaking ideas made reggae a worldwide sensation. Around the world, songs like One Love, Redemption Song, and No Woman, No Cry continued to inspire solidarity, harmony, and fortitude. But he had a tragically brief journey. Marley was diagnosed with melanoma in 1977, but he refused to have his body amputated because he adhered to Rastafarianism, which maintained that the body should stay intact. The cancer had spread to every part of his body by 1981. One of the world's greatest musical prophets passed away at the age of 36. His final words to his son Ziggy were profound. Money can't buy life. According to AI's representation, Bob Marley would have been a brilliant man as he grew older, with his well-known dreadlocks now either all white or streaked with silver. His visage, which had once been young and defiant, would eventually get wrinkles from years of activism, knowledge, and spiritual awakening. He might have stopped touring, but he would still have been a world peace ambassador, continuing to fight for social reform and human rights. Would he have followed contemporary reggae trends and worked with artists like Chronix or Damian Marley? Or would he have adopted a more sedate lifestyle in Jamaica, tending to a farm and mentoring aspiring musicians? His artificially aged appearance suggests that he will remain as captivating as ever as he ages. One thing is for sure, though, Bob Marley's legacy will endure forever. His music, philosophy, and struggle for justice still shape the world. Bob Marley's voice was never intended to fade. as his AI-aged version serves as a reminder. Montgomery Clift. Brooding, enigmatic, and incredibly skilled, Montgomery Clift personified Hollywood's golden age intensity. Clift chose nuanced, emotionally charged parts in movies like A Place in the Sun, From Here to Eternity, and The Misfits, defying the conventional star system in contrast to many of his peers. He influenced legends like James Dean and Marlon Brando as a pioneer of method acting. However, tragedy tainted Clift's private life. He suffered disfigurement in a near-fatal vehicle accident in 1956, which led to years of reconstructive surgery and ongoing discomfort. His speech and self-esteem were impacted by his previously perfect face, which is now partially paralyzed. This resulted in a downward spiral of substance misuse. He never changed, even though he continued to perform. His problems finally caught up with him in 1966, and at the age of 45, he died of a heart attack. AI's depiction of an elderly Clift implies that he would have aged with understated grace if he had lived longer. His deep-set, expressive eyes and silver-streaked hair may have mellowed his adolescent edge into a distinctive charm. He might have welcomed the change from leading man to seasoned character actor like Paul Newman or Anthony Hopkins. His AI-aged self raises interesting issues. Would he have eventually discussed his sexuality in public? Would he have shared his knowledge of the demands of Hollywood with aspiring performers as a mentor? Or maybe he would have withdrawn into himself and written autobiographies about the heyday of film. Despite his short life, Montgomery Clift is remembered as one of Hollywood's most mysterious talents. His artificial intelligence-aged appearance serves as a reminder that his genius was never intended to be limited to his youth. He was a legend and will always be remembered. Mac Miller. Mac Miller was a unique talent, from a young mixtape rapper to a profoundly reflective musician who incorporated jazz, funk, and soul into his hip-hop style. He was born Malcolm McCormick and made his rap debut in Pittsburgh at the age of 15, swiftly gaining recognition thanks to songs like Best Day Ever and Donald Trump. He stood out for transitioning from party anthems to honest, intimate storytelling. His artistic career took a fresh turn in 2014 when he signed with Warner Brothers. His albums, Swimming, The Divine Feminine, The Goddamn, revealed a developing musician who was not hesitant to talk about addiction, love, and depression. Unfortunately, when he passed away from an unintentional overdose in 2018 at the age of 26, his battles with substance misuse were all too true. His posthumous album, Circles, solidified his legacy as a visionary artist who passed away too young. AI-generated photos portray Mac Miller as an older, reflective version of himself, as if he had lived to old age. Hoodies, sneakers, and caps, his trademark casual look, would have probably persisted, albeit with a dash of sophistication. Fans adored his cheeky, youthful grin, which remains visible in his now wrinkled face. Would he have gone on to produce work for other artists? Have you tried your hand at film scoring? Like Pharrell or Kanye West, he might have become a musical mentor due to his ability to merge genres. Perhaps he would have continued to explore his love of hip-hop with jazz influences, collaborating with established and emerging artists. We are reminded of what might have been, a prolific artist reaching his full potential by Mac Miller's AI-aged image. Even though he passed away far too soon, his music endures because generations have found comfort in its words and rhythms. Freddie Mercury. A force to be reckoned with, Freddie Mercury was more than just a rock star. With hits like Bohemian Rhapsody, Somebody to Love, and We Are the Champions, he helped Queen achieve international renown for his 4-octave vocal range, theatrical stage presence, and unafraid individualism. His incredible performances enthralled audiences worldwide, and he was a superb showman. However, Freddie struggled with personal issues, including keeping his sexual orientation a secret and receiving an AIDS diagnosis beneath the extravagant outfits and captivating personality. He became the first well-known rock star to pass away from the illness in 1991 when he was only 45 years old. The day before he died, he made his last public comment, which verified the rumors that many had been circulating but that he had never addressed. AI's interpretation suggests an older, yet still captivating persona if Freddie had lived longer. His renownedly expressive face would have been framed by his jet black hair, which is now graying and receding. It's possible that his trademark mustache, a representation of his classic style, would have survived. Would he continue to don his ostentatious theatrical attire? Probably, but with a more sophisticated touch, maybe exchanging his glittery leotards for sharply fitted outfits with a daring edge. Freddie might have produced groundbreaking music, mentored up-and-coming artists, or even returned to the stage for legendary performances in his final years. He would have been a sought-after figure in music and movies due to his humor and charm, which were apparent in every interview. His spirit endures despite AI's aging portrayal, which is a testament to the enduring influence of a performer who broke with expectations and reinterpreted what it meant to be a rock star. Even if his voice has been muffled, his legacy endures. Grace Kelly. As an Oscar-winning Hollywood actress who transformed into a real-life princess, Grace Kelly's life epitomized a fairy tale. She won an Academy Award for The Country Girl, wowed audiences in Rear Window, To Catch a Thief, and High Society, and left Hollywood to wed Prince Rainier III of Monaco in 1956. She was born into an aristocratic family in Philadelphia. She modernized the principality while preserving its old-world grandeur, dedicating her life as Princess of Monaco to charitable endeavors. Tragic events occurred in 1982 when she was just 52 years old and had a stroke while driving on a hilly route near Monaco, which caused her automobile to plummet over an embankment. The world lamented the passing of its cherished princess, whose life had combined regal responsibilities with glamorous film. AI's portrayal of Grace Kelly implies that she would have remained equally elegant if she had lived to old age. Even though her trademark icy blonde hair would have become a gentle silver, her grace would have remained unaltered. She was always renowned for her excellent style, and she may have kept up her ageless sophistication by wearing pearls and fitted outfits. Would she have gone back to acting, maybe in prestigious parts that a former princess would have deserved? Or would she have penned autobiographies that examined her dual lives as a European princess and a Hollywood star? She might have served as a mentor to the upcoming generation of royals in Monaco with her knowledge and composure. Despite passing away too soon, Grace Kelly continues to represent brilliance, beauty, and sophistication. She left an elegant legacy as a timeless figure both on and off screen, and the AI-aged photo serves as a moving reminder. John F. Kennedy. In addition to being the 35th President of the United States, John F. Kennedy represented development, youth, and hope. With his well-known call to action, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country," he became the youngest president ever elected at 43, bringing in a period of hope and transformation. However, his reign was abruptly and tragically ended. JFK was assassinated on November 22, 1963 in Dallas, Texas, while passing through Dealey Plaza in an open-top vehicle. His passing, as captured on a now-famous video, is still regarded as one of the most contentious incidents in American history. After being detained but never given an entire interrogation, Lee Harvey Oswald was killed by nightclub owner Jack Ruby 2 days later, which fueled the numerous conspiracy theories that surrounded the case. Kennedy would have been 107 today if he had survived. An older JFK may have looked like this, with creases shadowing his formerly youthful face, his famed thick hair turning silver, and his piercing stare still keen, according to AI-generated photos. Would he still be in politics? Memoirs about the civil rights movement and the Cuban Missile Crisis. A second Kennedy term, according to historians, might have altered America's course and led to a stronger civil rights framework or an earlier withdrawal from Vietnam. This AI simulation allows us to envision a world where one of the most beloved U.S. presidents lived a long and significant life, even though we will never know. Kennedy passed away too soon, but his legacy lives on, guaranteeing his impact on the world will always be felt. Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was not only a great basketball player, but also a legend. He wowed fans with his skills for the Los Angeles Lakers for 20 years and his unrivaled work ethic, which is known as the Mamba mentality. He amassed 18 All-Star selections, 2 NBA Finals MVP awards, and 5 NBA titles. Generations of athletes have been inspired by Kobe's unwavering love and drive for the game, which set him apart. Kobe, his daughter Gianna, and 7 other people tragically perished in a devastating helicopter crash on January 26, 2020. Supporters, teammates, and other athletes were in mourning when the news sent shockwaves worldwide. But his influence has never diminished. Murals of him and Gianna still decorate towns worldwide, and the NBA renamed the All-Star MVP Award in his honor. Artificial intelligence-generated pictures offer a nostalgic glimpse into what Kobe would have looked like if he had lived to old age. A contented, laid-back Kobe, growing older but still grinning, maybe mentoring the upcoming basketball players, including his daughters. He was devoted to his family and even won an Oscar for his animated short film, Dear Basketball, demonstrating his versatility beyond his passion for sports. Would Kobe have gone on to coach or own an NBA team? Many believe that by coaching up-and-coming talent, as he did with players like Devin Booker and Jason Tatum, he would have transformed the game from the sidelines. In addition to honoring the incredible legacy Kobe left behind, one that will continue to inspire for decades to come, this AI reconstruction serves as a reminder of the excellence we lost too soon. Natalie Wood. Natalie Wood, who moved from child star to leading lady with ease, was a member of Hollywood royalty. As a child, she won people over with her portrayal in Miracle on 34th Street. Later, she solidified her status as a movie star with Rebel Without a Cause, Splendor in the Grass, and West Side Story. She captivated audiences with every performance, renowned for her beauty, grace, and exceptional talent. But on November 29, 1981, her life took a terrible and enigmatic turn. She vanished overnight while on a yacht with her pal, Christopher Walken, and her husband, actor Robert Wagner. She was wearing a nightgown and socks when her body was discovered floating off Catalina Island a few hours later. Although her death was officially declared an accidental drowning, there are still unanswered concerns. When Wagner was listed as a person of interest in 2018, rumors that foul play might have been involved were rekindled. Her passing is still one of Hollywood's greatest unanswered mysteries. Thanks to AI recreations, we can see what Natalie would have looked like in her later years. She probably would have aged gracefully with her high cheekbones, bright eyes, and elegant manner. Like her contemporaries, she might have gone on to play more sophisticated roles before transitioning to Broadway or television. She may have taken up advocacy work for women in film or authored a book illuminating Hollywood's heyday. Even though Natalie passed away at 43, her legacy endures thanks to her movies and the mystery surrounding her last night. This AI recreation reminds us of the actress's brilliance and the numerous roles she could not fulfill, offering a melancholic yet poignant glimpse into her life. Jimi Hendrix. More than just a musician, Jimi Hendrix was a trailblazer who changed the possibilities of the guitar. Hendrix enthralled audiences worldwide with their thrilling performances and innovative tactics. Songs like Voodoo Child, All Along the Watchtower, and Purple Haze demonstrated his ability to combine psychedelic, rock, and blues in unprecedented ways. Although he released only 3 studio albums during his lifetime, his impact remains incalculable. However, his brilliance came at a personal cost. Hendrix overdosed on sleeping drugs and was discovered unconscious in a London hotel on September 18, 1970, at the age of just 27. Asphyxiation from choking on his vomit was listed as his official cause of death. Along with musicians like Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, and Amy Winehouse, his death contributed to the infamous 27 Club, earning him a new moniker. AI recreations imply that Hendrix might have maintained his trademark composure and developed into a rock elder statesman if he had survived. Fine lines would have traced the years of his iconic performances and cultural impact, and his once wild afro might have turned gray. It's easy to envision him continuing his innovations, collaborating with emerging artists, or even expanding into other genres. Many people conjecture about the possible paths his music could have taken. Would he have accepted fusion jazz, or maybe gravitated toward electronic experimental sounds? Even though he's no longer with us, his spirit has never really died, as evidenced by the fact that his influence can still be heard in musicians from a variety of genres. We can only speculate about how many more groundbreaking albums and iconic performances he may have produced, and what lessons he may have imparted to future generations when we gaze at this AI-generated image of an older Hendrix. Dana Plato. As Kimberly Drummond on the popular comedy Diff'rent Strokes, Dana Plato was once one of America's most adored child stars. Her charming smile and girl-next-door personality won over hearts throughout the country. Behind the scenes, however, Plato battled inner demons that would ultimately bring about her terrible demise. She started doing drug experiments with her co-stars when she was a teenager. She was thrown out of the show after shocking Hollywood at the age of 19 by marrying a rock star and having a child. Her problems worsened after her lost custody of her son. She made several attempts at a career comeback, but ended up struggling with addiction and money issues. Her terrible story was further solidified in 1991 when she robbed a video store with a pellet pistol out of desperation. Dana Plato was 34 years old when she overdosed on a prescription medicine on May 8, 1999, which was determined to be a suicide. Her story became one of the most poignant warnings in Hollywood history, illustrating how sudden fame can sometimes have disastrous consequences. AI-generated pictures indicate that Dana would have aged gracefully if she had survived, her delicate features still retaining remnants of the young star that America once loved. Even though time would have caused wrinkles, the AI portrayal has a tenderness that begs the question, could she have found redemption? Would she have shared her tale to assist others to avoid the same fate, becoming an advocate for struggling child stars? Although her legacy lives on, her death left many wondering what may have been. Given the number of former child stars speaking out about the negative aspects of Hollywood these days, it is impossible to deny that Dana's voice might have had an impact. Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was a force of nature and a skilled martial artist. Millions were inspired by his philosophy, discipline, and pure athleticism, which demonstrated the fantastic abilities of the human body and mind. Lee's speed, strength, and wisdom made a lasting impression on the world, whether in real life or movies like Enter the Dragon. However, his tale was cruelly cut short. While working on Enter the Dragon, Lee suffered from migraines and seizures, which caused him to collapse just 1 month before his death. At the age of 32, he complained of a headache on July 20, 1973, while at the residence of actress Betty Ting Pei. After taking a pain reliever from her, he fell asleep and never woke up. Although there have been persistent suspicions for decades regarding an allergic response, heat stroke, and even foul play, the official cause of death was determined to be cerebral edema. Bruce Lee would have been 83 today if he had survived. AI-generated pictures show him with wrinkles, silver hair, and an aged wisdom in his eyes. His piercing features and fierce eyes are still blazing with warrior fire. It's easy to envision him as a respected martial arts elder, coaching aspiring fighters or even helming action movie productions that continually push the envelope. In addition to martial artists, his ideas on self-improvement, flexibility, and mental discipline continue to inspire athletes, business professionals, and creatives worldwide. Even if we can only speculate about what else he might have accomplished, his legacy ensures that his influence will always be felt. Bruce Lee's immortality is found in the innumerable lives he continues to inspire, but AI offers us a glimpse of what may have been. Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston's voice was unique. It was intense, unadulterated, and had a quick range. She became one of the best-selling musicians with classics like I Will Always Love You and The Greatest Love of All. She was recognized as a once-in-a-lifetime talent due to her exceptional vocal range and ability to convey emotion in every performance. Whitney's career was eventually hindered by her turbulent personal life, which often overshadowed her public persona. Her battle with addiction became well known, overshadowing some of her outstanding accomplishments. The news of her untimely death shocked the globe on February 11, 2012. According to the coroner's findings, she drowned after being discovered comatose in a bathtub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, and drugs may have had a role in the incident. The fact that her daughter, Bobbi Kristina Brown, would meet a similar end a few years later added to the tragedy. Whitney's voice was unparalleled in conveying heartbreak, courage, and vulnerability all in one sentence. Even though her music will always endure, one can't help but wonder what else she would have accomplished if she had lived. Whitney is depicted in this AI-generated image as aging gracefully with the same classic elegance that characterized her youth. Even though it is softened with age, her thick hair is still remarkable, and her bright smile still exudes the warmth and friendliness that made her so adored. The wrinkles that naturally occur are a testament to a life that has been both successful and tragic. Even if her voice may have matured, it's conceivable that it would still retain the same emotional depth and captivate audiences as it did when she was at her best. Marilyn Monroe. The history of Hollywood will always bear the imprint of Marilyn Monroe. She was born Norma Jean Mortensen and became well known in the 1950s after transforming from a timid brunette into the ideal blonde bombshell. With movies like Some Like It Hot and The 7-Year Itch, Monroe enthralled audiences with her seductive demeanor, flawless beauty, and air of vulnerability. Her platinum blonde hair, distinctive red lips, and stunning attractiveness made her name synonymous with sex appeal. However, her life was anything but glamorous. Growing up in foster homes and going through the pain of sexual abuse, Monroe had a turbulent upbringing. She got married young, but her marriage ended badly. She later married baseball great Joe DiMaggio, but their marriage was troubled and tainted by accusations of violence. Monroe's severe addiction and mental health issues led to her untimely death from a barbiturate overdose in 1962 at the age of 36. Marilyn's aura endures despite her early passing. Her picture is still among the most well-known in pop culture history. If Monroe had lived longer, it's conceivable that she would still be a captivating star, her timeless beauty and seductive charm intact. The AI rendering depicts an elderly Monroe, with her trademark red lips and platinum blonde hair, but now with more grace, as her features have softened with age. She is one of the most enduring images of the 20th century because of the magnetic quality of her look, which now radiates the same vulnerability and seduction. As she grows older, Marilyn Monroe's defining look, a blend of sex appeal, elegance, and sophistication, remain unchanged. She would have continued to inspire future generations as a symbol of strength and beauty. Jackie Kennedy Onassis. Jackie Kennedy Onassis embodied strength, grace, and elegance, serving as the First Lady of the United States. Jackie Kennedy, the wife of President John F. Kennedy, played a pivotal role in transforming the White House into a cultural hub, revitalizing the arts and spearheading public initiatives to preserve America's cultural heritage. She became a legendary figure in American society due to her passion for reading, the arts, and history. However, her dignity and composure, particularly in the face of unspeakable tragedy, solidified her legacy. Jackie became a widow at the age of 34 following President Kennedy's 1963 death, a tragedy that the world witnessed firsthand. She nevertheless showed incredible courage and later remarried Greek shipping mogul Aristotle Onassis before fading into obscurity. In the 1970s, she returned to the public eye as a book editor, establishing herself as a successful professional in her own right and a cultural figure. Jackie left a legacy of grace, refinement, and unflinching fortitude when she died of non-Hodgkin lymphoma in 1994 at the age of 64. Jackie's elegant features are softened by the years in this AI-generated portrait of an elderly woman. Her impeccable sense of style, initially characterized by Givenchy dresses and oversized sunglasses, has been updated for the present era while maintaining her dignity. Her classic beauty and the serene strength she radiated throughout her life remain visible, even though her hair has begun to gray. Jackie would have remained a stylish symbol around the globe, and her immaculate fashion sense, developed from childhood, would have indeed evolved into timeless refinement. Sharon Tate. Before her untimely murder at the age of 26, Sharon Tate was one of Hollywood's most promising up-and-coming actresses. She had a bright future ahead of her and was well known for her stunning beauty and endearing nature. Tate's most notable performance was in Valley of the Dolls, 1967, where her ability and gorgeous appearance made her a sex icon in the late 1960s. In addition to her acting career, Tate was respected for her laid-back, free-spirited personality, reflecting the era's lively atmosphere. She was married to director Roman Polanski, and they had a happy and promising life together. But on the evening of August 8, 1969, Tate's life was brutally cut short when she was killed by members of the Manson family, a cult headed by Charles Manson. She was 8 months along in her first pregnancy at the time. The world was outraged by the crime's heinousness, which also signaled the end of the 1960s free love era. She became an icon due to the media frenzy surrounding her passing. She represented both the ruthless brutality that marked the end of the period and its innocence. We can envision Sharon Tate continuing to mature gracefully in this AI-generated image of her as an elderly woman. Her famously long blonde hair may have transformed into delicate silver waves, preserving the beauty that enthralled viewers. Her countenance is given depth by the inevitable wrinkles that come with aging, revealing a life filled with happiness and sadness. Her gorgeous smile, however, never goes away and constantly reminds her of the alluring presence she left behind. Her elegance is preserved in the AI representation, and despite the passing of the years, we can still perceive her exuding the same warmth and charm. It serves as a chilling reminder of her potential and her legacy. Judy Garland. As Dorothy, Judy Garland enchanted the world with her iconic rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and her name is inextricably linked to the timeless magic of The Wizard of Oz. Garland faced even more significant obstacles than Dorothy did on her quest. The studio structure that influenced Garland's career exploited her from a young age, subjecting her to long workdays and an unattainable standard of perfection that hurt her mental and physical health. Her health and well-being suffered greatly as a result of her struggles with addiction, forced abortions, and rigid diets. Garland's terrible slide was ultimately caused by the burden of Hollywood's unrelenting expectations. She had faced years of emotional and professional challenges by the time she was 47. She had a remarkable career that lasted several decades, but her sudden death from an overdose in 1969 startled the globe. Judy Garland's legacy endures despite her struggles, thanks to her exceptional voice and acting prowess, which few celebrities can match. We see a refined emblem form in the AI-generated representation of an elderly Judy Garland. Judy would probably have noticed changes on her face as she aged, including the unavoidable impacts of time, softer skin, and more pronounced under-eye bags. However, her distinctive appeal would always remain. Judy remained strong and resilient despite everything that happened to her, and her elder self would have carried a quiet strength that reflected the lady who conquered so many challenges. Since her voice would have had the same emotional resonance, we can picture her enthralling audiences with her unbreakable soul. She would have been a genuine star even in her later years, remembered for her extraordinary talent and tenacity. Michael Jackson. Known as the King of Pop, Michael Jackson was a global phenomenon whose impact on music and society remains unparalleled. Jackson transformed the music business with his pioneering solo career and early days with the Jackson 5. He became a cultural sensation when albums like Thriller and Bad set records and revolutionized pop music. Michael Jackson's impact was felt worldwide because of his explosive performances, trademark dancing routines like the moonwalk, and unparalleled singing abilities. Fans of all ages adored and showered him with praise, making him a living legend. But there were some difficult times in Michael's life. He had to deal with numerous personal issues, including intrusive media attention, personal life scandals, and court cases that heightened public curiosity. His musical brilliance persisted despite these obstacles. Unfortunately, he died in 2009 at the age of 50 from a cardiac arrest brought on by a sedative overdose, ending his life. His unexpected passing stunned everyone, and the loss of such a great person was felt all across the world. We can see the subtle effects of time passing in the AI-generated vision of an older Michael Jackson, Age would have caused his once young face to develop, perhaps bearing the scars of a life full of highs and lows. In his later years, Michael, renowned for his exacting appearance, might have adopted a more modest look, possibly growing gray hair and opting for more traditional design choices. He may, however, continue to have a distinctive advantage and retain his distinctive flair. He may have experimented with his appearance, embracing a more natural aging process or undergoing more cosmetic treatments due to his constantly shifting character. Without a doubt, his music would have also changed, still striking a chord with fans, possibly in a more thoughtful and contemplative manner, and retaining the enchantment that made him a legend. Heath Ledger. The film industry was devastated by the death of Heath Ledger at 28. Ledger's performances were unmatched, and he was well known for his extraordinary depth and range. He cemented his position in movie history with his depiction of the Joker in The Dark Knight, which brought him posthumous praise and an Academy Award. When Ledger's life ended due to an unintentional overdose of prescribed medication, his career was just taking off, with memorable parts in movies like A Knight's Tale and Brokeback Mountain. Despite his brief existence, his influence was undeniable. Ledger would undoubtedly have been impacted by the passage of time if he had lived to be an elderly man. As the years passed, his previously thick, dark hair would have probably turned gray or white, losing some of its volume and texture. The natural aging indications, such as creases around the mouth, forehead, and eyes, where many individuals first exhibit signs of aging, would have shown on his once young, chiseled face. His cheekbones and jawline may have become less pointed as muscle tone and fat distribution changed. His distinctive facial expressions, which often conveyed vulnerability and intensity, may have remained. Ledger's distinct appeal and capacity to describe the intricacies of human emotion would have persisted despite changes in his appearance. The essence of Heath Ledger's youthful passion and compelling presence is preserved in the AI-generated image of what he would have looked like as an older man. It's easy to envision him maintaining that same intriguing, enthralling intensity as he ages. His legacy would endure not only because of the parts he performed, but also because of the actor he would have been. The AI representation is a moving reminder of the extraordinary ability we lost too soon. John Lennon. The world was left in mourning for an icon whose impact on music and society endures to this day after John Lennon passed away tragically in 1980 at the age of 40. Lennon influenced a generation's musical taste as a member of the Beatles. He is regarded as one of the most influential musicians ever due to his innovative solo career, politically motivated activism, and introspective lyrics. A life full of promise came to a tragic end when he was assassinated outside his New York City apartment, the Dakota, shocking followers worldwide. Lennon's style would probably have remained recognizable and famous if he had lived longer. His distinctive round glasses, disheveled hair, and easygoing style choices may have evolved over time, but they would have remained consistent with his free-spirited personality. His face would have been marked by the passing of time. Years of singing and laughing would have caused wrinkles around his mouth and eyes. Lennon was renowned for having expressive features that would have deepened with time, giving him a more reflective and introspective look. In his later years, it's simple to see Lennon's artistic development continue. His music, which was always ahead of its time, may have taken several directions, perhaps delving further into activism or reflection. His passion for trying new things would have probably resulted in partnerships with up-and-coming musicians, influencing upcoming musical trends. Lennon's impact would have persisted in the public mind even as he grew older, just like it does now. We get a glimpse of the man who may have inspired and innovated well into his later years in this AI-generated image of an older John Lennon. Age would have only strengthened his artistic legacy and unshakable dedication to love and peace. Karen Carpenter. The world was horrified by the untimely death of 32-year-old Karen Carpenter, who had a significant impact on the music industry and the discourse surrounding mental health. As the lead vocalist of the Carpenters, Karen's soft, angelic voice reached millions, making the group one of the most adored groups of the 1970s. Unfortunately, she passed away too soon as a result of her anorexia, which was made worse by the demands of celebrity. Her death serves as a heartbreaking reminder of the precarious state of mental health, and her story raised much-needed awareness of the risks associated with eating disorders. Karen Carpenter's voice was timeless, and her talent was irreplaceable. Therefore, it's possible that she would have continued making music if she had lived longer. We would probably perceive an older Karen with softer features if she were still alive at 70. Over time, her renownedly straight and silky brown hair would probably have turned white or gray, losing some of its youthful thickness and luster. Wrinkles would have appeared on her once bright face, especially around the mouth and eyes, symbolizing the emotional weight she bore and the life she led. Karen's voice would probably have enthralled audiences despite the physical toll the years would have taken on her. She possessed a unique ability to convey intense emotions through her songs, and her vocal delivery was raw and emotionally charged. Even in her latter years, Karen Carpenter would have been a respected figure, possibly performing or even coaching up-and-coming artists. The AI representation of an older Karen depicts a woman whose legacy endures, as evidenced by the beauty of her music and her fortitude in the face of hardship. If she had lived longer, the world would have witnessed a lady who not only lived, but flourished, her unmatched voice still touching hearts. Princess Diana. The world was shocked by Princess Diana's untimely death in 1997 at the age of 36, which permanently changed the trajectory of royal history. Diana, also called the People's Princess, rose to fame for her unwavering humanitarian efforts, elegance, and beauty. She won over the public with her ability to relate to people from all walks of life and her courage in defying royal conventions. Diana took advantage of her position for the benefit of the world through her campaigns against landmines and HIV/AIDS. She became a style icon, influencing generations of women worldwide with her avant-garde fashion sense. Princess Diana would have continued to inspire and impact the globe if she had survived into her older years. Her legacy of empathy and her capacity to raise awareness of significant issues, especially those related to women's rights, mental health, and climate change, would likely have grown. With social media allowing her to interact with a worldwide audience and motivate others to take action and speak out on important topics, Diana's support of underrepresented communities would have found new outlets in the digital age. Diana's impact would still be recognizable in terms of fashion. Her daring decisions, from sophisticated dresses to laid-back ensembles, established fashion trends for decades. A more mature Diana might have adopted more classic, eco-friendly styles while maintaining the stylish, carefree style for which she was renowned. Her presence would have become more assertive, even as her youthful attractiveness waned. She may have aged gracefully, her trademark short blonde hair now softer with gray flecks, her features more sophisticated, but she still had the compassion and kindness that won her millions of fans. AI portrays Princess Diana as an elderly woman who embodies a combination of poise and maturity, signifying a life well lived and a legacy that will inspire others for years to come. Her image is a timeless representation of elegance, kindness, and commitment. Elvis Presley. Even after his tragic death at 42 in 1977, Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, remains an enduring icon who continues to enthrall audiences worldwide. With a career that permanently altered the entertainment industry, he has had an incalculable impact on music, society, and fashion. Elvis was fighting inner demons, such as prescription drug misuse and bad living choices, which ultimately contributed to his death, despite his glamorous performances and captivating image. Millions of admirers worldwide expressed their sorrow over Elvis's passing, which led to a tragic end to his time at his Graceland residence. The AI-generated representation of an elderly Elvis Presley shows us what he may have looked like if he had lived longer, as he would have likely undergone the normal aging process. The once boyish face with its distinctive jawline and sharp features would have softened with age. Once flowing in dark, slick-backed pompadours, his hair would have become white or gray, losing its volume and richness. His struggle against the effects of his previous lifestyle may have been a concern for his health, as he grew older, as evidenced by his drooping skin, deep lines around his eyes, and wrinkles on his forehead. Elvis would still have had his heart and soul despite the outward changes. He would have remained a pop culture figure despite his appearance because of his distinct charm and charisma. He might have continued creating music, but his sound would likely have evolved to reflect his experiences and the changes in the music industry. His performances might have been more personal and introspective, giving younger audiences a glimpse into the man who created the legend. With a voice that could still evoke the enchantment of his youth, Elvis Presley would have remained legendary even in his latter years, a poignant reminder of the man who transformed music and had the vision of an older Elvis. This provides a lasting impression of history. His influence endures not only in his music, but also in the lasting impact he had on society. Kurt Cobain. The frontman of the avant-garde band Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, is frequently regarded as the voice of a generation because he perfectly captured the despair and disillusionment of the young people of the 1990s. The music industry was forever changed by his untimely demise in 1994 at the young age of 27. In addition to changing the music business, his gritty, unadulterated sound elevated him to a symbol of defiance and uniqueness. Beyond his musical prowess, however, Cobain's artistic vision encompassed his life beliefs and philosophy. He was renowned for having a profound awareness of the world, particularly about self-expression, human struggles, and the chaotic nature of celebrity. Before his tragic death, which was allegedly caused by a self-inflicted gunshot wound, Cobain fought a protracted battle with substance misuse, mental health disorders, and the demands of celebrity. However, his music and impact on upcoming musicians from various genres continue to carry on his legacy. If he were still with us today, one could see Kurt Cobain as a fervent supporter of mental health awareness. He may even use his position to address the addiction and despair that afflicted him during his lifetime. He would likely have continued to push the envelope with his music, embracing new inspirations and styles, and perhaps adopting new technologies to explore his craft further, considering his creative development through his brief career. Kurt Cobain's trademark characteristics would likely have evolved with age, as evidenced by AI-generated representations of his older self. His once boyish face is now marked with the wrinkles of experience, and his tousled blonde hair has turned gray. Cobain's fashion sense may have evolved, embracing more understated or contemplative ensembles while retaining that rebellious edge. His eyes, which formerly conveyed a profound sense of vulnerability, may have grown wiser with time, but his rebellious nature would never change. It's simple to think that he would have, like many other great musicians, gained renown as a creative force who is both modest and drastically different. Marvin Gaye. Before his tragic death at 44 in 1984, Marvin Gaye, one of the most beloved voices in soul and Motown music, left a lasting impression on the music industry. Gaye's music blended themes of love, hardship, and social justice, going beyond the confines of R&B and soul. He was well known for his expressive, smooth voice. Songs like What's Going On and Sexual Healing remain famous due to his ability to use powerful words and melodies to convey both social and personal emotions. The circumstances of Gaye's death, a deadly gunshot wound from his father, added a devastating conclusion to an already complex life. Marvin Gaye's intensely reflective songs reflected his long-standing personal challenges, which included turbulent relationships, addiction, and mental health issues. However, Marvin Gaye would likely have continued to develop as a person and an artist had he lived longer. An artificial intelligence AI-generated image of an elderly Marvin Gaye depicts a man whose features have altered over time. However, he still exudes the elegance and charisma that made him unique. Even if his once smooth skin could have small creases around his mouth and eyes from age, his dominant presence would still be evident. Gaye's trademark mustache would still have been a mainstay of his appearance, even if his hair would have probably grayed with time. He would have probably experimented with many musical genres, using soul with modern sounds to appeal to a broader audience. He might have even worked with up-and-coming hip-hop or R&B singers. He could have continued his discussion of current political and social concerns, using his position to give a voice to people who didn't feel heard. Even with all his hardships, Marvin Gaye's impact would have continued to grow over time. His presence in the music industry would serve as a constant reminder of the ability of music to uplift, heal, and bring people together. His voice, like his legacy, would endure forever. Paul Walker. Famous for playing Brian O'Connor in the Fast and Furious movie series, Paul Walker tragically died in a car accident in 2013 when he was 40 years old. Walker's charity endeavors and passion for the water, in addition to his action-packed roles, had made him a worldwide celebrity. Fans were devastated by his untimely demise, but his legacy lives on through his foundation, Reach Out Worldwide, which aids countries affected by natural disasters. One may easily speculate that Paul Walker's career would have gone in a different path if he had lived to a later age. Walker had a strong interest in marine biology and frequently spent his leisure time exploring the ocean. He may have transitioned from Hollywood action movies to documentaries, sharing his passion for the environment and aquatic life with a broader audience. He could have turned into an environmentalist, utilizing his notoriety to promote awareness of climate change and ocean protection. An AI-generated image of Walker as an elderly man portrays him as still remarkably attractive, with his trademark blonde hair graying and possibly a few extra wrinkles to accentuate the effects of aging. Even if his style has changed, it still captures his easygoing outdoor spirit. It's possible that fans noticed his shift into parts that focused more on introspection and wisdom than on fast-paced chases. In his later years, he might have played the sage father figure or mentor in action-packed movies. Walker's lasting reputation would have probably viewed him as a kind and humble figure in the entertainment world, in addition to being an advocate for the topics he was passionate about. His influence on film and his humanitarian endeavors would have persisted. Anna Nicole Smith. The life of Anna Nicole Smith was characterized by notoriety, controversy, and an unrelenting need for attention. A former Playboy model, Smith gained worldwide recognition for her voluptuous figure and distinctive personality. Her marriage to billionaire oil tycoon Jay made her a media celebrity and attracted public attention. She was about 90 years older than Howard Marshall. Despite Smith's many personal hardships, including substance misuse, legal issues, and the untimely loss of her son, Daniel Smith, the media focus on their relationship kept her in the public eye. Even if her personal life was chaotic, Anna Nicole was a unique figure in pop culture because of her beauty, charisma, and sincere, if complex, quest for acceptance and love. She frequently adopted a larger-than-life image in her personal and professional life and was well known for her amusing manner. But in the end, her difficulties caused her to pass away prematurely in 2007 at the age of 39 from an overdose. The natural signs of aging, such as wrinkles around her mouth and eyes, would have been more noticeable if Anna Nicole Smith were still alive today, given years of stress and adversity. She might have chosen a more subtle look as she grew older, and her platinum blonde hair would have likely evolved into a more natural color with the potential for graying. Smith is portrayed as a softer, more mature woman in AI-generated representations of her age. She might have adopted a more natural style and abandoned some extravagant appearances that made her a tabloid mainstay in favor of a more subdued, sophisticated presence. Her distinctive sparkle, her infectious smile and exuberant enthusiasm would surely still be evident. Smith might have pursued self-help projects or charities, giving her unique perspectives on success, love, and overcoming obstacles. Natasha Richardson. Renowned for her work in theater and cinema, Natasha Richardson was a multifaceted British actress who enthralled audiences with her extraordinary grace and skill. Her career included theater, film, and television, and she received recognition for her work on both sides of the Atlantic. She was born into the well-known Redgrave performing family. Richardson's portrayal in movies like Made in Manhattan, 2002, and The Parent Trap, 1998, demonstrated her innate charisma and capacity to capture the warmth and complexity of characters. She won a Tony Award for her performance in Cabaret in 1998, but her commitment to the theater made her a star. The entertainment industry was profoundly affected by her tragic and premature death in 2009 at the age of 45. Richardson died 2 days after suffering a head injury following a minor fall during a skiing lesson. The event highlighted the importance of enhanced safety measures in sports like skiing and served as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life. If she had lived to a ripe old age, Natasha Richardson's talents would have inspired generations of moviegoers and theatergoers alike. Her features appeared to be gracefully developing in an AI-generated image of her as an elderly woman. Age may have softened her powerful jawline, and time's wisdom may have enhanced her expressive eyes, which had portrayed so much emotion in her performances. Her classic beauty would have endured even if her trademark red hair had turned silver or gray. Natasha Richardson would likely have stayed committed to her art, performing and passing on her knowledge of the power of acting and theater to future generations. She may have also become more active in important causes, such as supporting nonprofits and raising awareness of mental health issues. Even though her career was cut short, her legacy would only have been more significant over time.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon